Game design is a very wide field that has many facets and branches. As a rule of thumb, the larger the team is, the more specialized your design job will be. Let's talk about all these different branches of game design so you know what you can possibly expect and maybe choose what to focus on later. Broadly speaking, the game design field can be divided in two groups: system design and content design. In most companies, the profession of a game designer refers to system designers, people defining all the rule sets and mechanics of a game. This group can be divided even further. First, we have the specialized mechanics group, people focusing on some particular parts of a game: 3C designers, combat designers, vehicle designers, weapon designers, and whatever other expert needs the projects or companies might have. Then we have the meta group, which is about the design of large and complex interconnected systems. This category includes in itself people like economy designers and balance designers. In the content category, the most known group are level designers, but it too can have more granular specializations depending on project needs: world designers, quest designers, puzzle designers, and so on. Level design is often viewed as being separate from game design, but this is only because, as mentioned, most places refer to system designers as game designers. They are both different branches of the same large field, and share a lot of principles, even though they require different skill sets. Then there are sound designers, responsible for figuring out a way how audio affects the experience. This is sadly one of the most underrated design branches so far, with sound in general having a tendency to be considered less important than mechanics and visuals. But sound designers are imperative for creating great immersive experiences. At the intersection of system and content branches, we can find narrative designers. Their job is to make sure that the mechanics and story of a game gel well together. Also at this intersection are UX designers. UX is a very large field in and of itself, but to put it shortly, it's about humanizing the interaction between players and the game. Yeah, that still sounds pretty vague, but we'll get to UX in our courses as well. There's another interesting intersection, this time between system design and a totally different field: programming. Technical designers. They are essentially responsible for making tools that other designers will use in their processes. And all of these are sort of wrapped in the direction overlay, with the most often leading professions being creative directors and game directors. Generally speaking, the difference is that creative directors oversee the entire project, while game directors oversee the game design part of it. This schematic doesn't show the entire range of specializations you will encounter, but I think it shows enough for you to get an understanding of just how big and wide the game design field is. Note that many of the specializations you will meet only on large projects, as on more smaller ones you will take more hats and responsibilities. For example, it is absolutely not uncommon for somebody on a small team to do work on systems design, level design, and narrative design all at the same time. But even as a generalist, you'll not be able to be an expert at absolutely every facet of game design. Still, you should know something about all these different branches, which leads us nicely straight into the next chapter.